Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Hope and Healing Family Cafe. I am especially pleased today to be able to introduce our guest, who's my son, Michael Brungard. And Michael is a part of what we've been doing called the Healthy Family Workshop Series. And I'm going to be in just letting him introduce himself in a moment, but I wanted to tell you that you're in for a treat as we are talking about family fit today, how to keep your family fit and healthy even during COVID-19. So Michael, take it away. How are you?
Hi, good, doing well. So, yeah, so, I got into fitness a long time ago, so I'm now a certified personal trainer. Um, I've been one for about 6 years now. Uh, I've been in and out of certain styles of gyms, mainly martial arts, uh, and working with kids that's right where it started in a sense, in terms of professionally speaking.
Okay.
So I started off with more extreme sports, skateboarding, and um, that individualized approach to exercise kind of brought me uh, into just being more active in general. So, uh, over the years, I ended up going from martial arts into parkour, and now I'm just mainly working with kids and even families, especially with the situation going on now, doing home workouts. Um, everybody usually starts off in a gym as a personal trainer. I prefer to do it at home, especially since I ended up having kids early, around 20. So that kind of led right into working out at home and even with the kids sometimes, with them being my weight when I needed them. And uh, it just kind of progressed from there.
Yeah, absolutely. So you've always been into fitness and staying busy and healthy. That's kind of been your lifestyle from the beginning, but you really progressed into kind of personal coaching. And I remember even when we were taking your group coaching classes, the thing that was different about the way that you were doing the coaching was that there was kind of a fun fit element to the class as well. It wasn't just kind of, the extreme exercising. And so as we are living now during this pandemic and with COVID-19, so many people are isolated and at home. We're on lockdown at home. And at least for me, I know I could say they keep calling it the COVID-19 in terms of pounds that people have gained, but I've gained some weight even in the last few weeks. And so when we're thinking about fitness and health being at home, lockdown, now you're not able to go out to the gym. What kinds of things would you suggest that we could do to keep ourselves healthy?
Uh, well, that's a great question because, I mean, it's one of the simplest answers of them all, too, and that's by starting off walking. Walking in itself has tons of benefits. It was done centuries ago, and that's just how they got around. But um, it it changes your hormone levels, your moods. It increases your brain power. So, just walking, going out, getting fresh air, taking walks. That's one of the main things that you should add into your daily routine. And with that being said, too, I mean, there's also a term called ADLs, which is activities of daily living. Your normal day-to-day things, doing your chores around the house, dishes, sweeping, laundry, just regular activities. You can always find ways to stay more active throughout the day, and you can make it fun too, and that's what helps increase the calories that you burn throughout the day.
Wow. Now, I hadn't thought about the activities of daily living as kind of a form of exercise, but I mean, you're right. When we are moving around on a day-to-day basis, just doing the basic things. So tell me, how would we, kind of turn something like sweeping or doing laundry? How do you kind of turn that into something that it could be a little bit more healthy for you?
Yeah. So, I mean, some people I've seen a bunch of different avenues towards this, but you know, coming from a martial arts background, I'll give you one example there. I've seen people, and I've even done it myself. I watched a lot of kung fu movies, and there's YouTube videos on guys joking around to where they'll sweep and use kung fu technique just to sweep around the house or do their chores. And just having that type of fun while you're doing something as simple as sweeping, uh, it's hilarious, but it's also, you're getting more activity. You're moving around. Your body's moving in different motions that you don't normally do. Most people nowadays are just used to sitting and standing, and they're only sticking to certain planes of motion, to where you can find other ways to break out of it. With that being said, you can throw some music on and dance around while you're sweeping, just like in breaking.
Yes.
So, you know, those are just some simple avenues. You know, for me too, my laundry is in the basement, so I have to take a couple flights of stairs. Um, Sometimes I might take one load down, come back up, and then take another load back down to come back up. So I might not try to carry everything at once.
Okay.
You know, simple things like that. When you're grocery shopping, you know, a lot of people don't think of their hands and their grip as being necessary muscles, but you know, the more bags you can try to fit into your hand will build your grip. It'll also build your core muscles because you want to stabilize the different weights that you have in each hand. So those are just a few examples.
That's great. I mean, what you're really trying to remind us to do, it seems like right now, is really be mindful. So the simple day-to-day tasks that we have, if we, stop for a moment and just think about how else can I apply this, or, kind of change it just a little bit, and it becomes healthy in an exercise kind of activity.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
great. And then walking, I know, for years we've talked about walking, and I used to do, when we used to live by the beach, I used to walk a lot more. But I think working from home right now has created an environment where for some of us, we're working more now than we were before. There's just so many Zoom meetings, you're in front of a laptop or a computer minute after minute, and we're sitting a lot. There's not a lot of breaks or standing up and down, and that's a part of it. So I think reminding us is helpful that we can go outside and walk, or walk even around the house.
Yep.
We need that break, even if you're sitting for an hour. I mean, we need to get up and take a little physical break.
Yeah. Yeah. That's very important. I mean, yeah, just like you said, even for kids, teenagers, they have to sit there, and now most of them are doing homework. You know, sit down, do your homework for an hour, but you need to take those breaks. You got to get up, get some movement in, even if it's a little bit of stretching, walking 5-10 minutes, and then get right back to work. But those movements are necessary.
Good tips, very good. And I hear the kids in the background. So I know I've seen a couple of videos that you posted where you're doing little, almost like a home workout with the kids, almost like it's a, what would you call that, like a marathon or?
Yeah, obstacle course race. Yeah.
Yes, an obstacle course with the kids, and they look like fun. So talk to me about why you did that, what's the benefits of doing something like that, and how easy is it for, a regular family, somebody who's maybe not a fitness expert like yourself, to come
Yeah.
up with some kind of obstacle course?
Yeah. So the main reason I do it is I've also competed in obstacle course races before, and I plan on doing some more in the future as long as we can. And it's just something that's fun. It pushes you to kind of get out of your normal boundaries. Most people like to do like 5K, 10K races where you're just running. To me, that's just a bit too tedious. I like to have some obstacles in the way. I want to be able to use a bit more different muscle groups and different planes, and that's where part of the parkour came into play. Was because there's always more than one way to get from point A to point B. So it's just fun to think of those, and like you said, be mindful and try to think of different ways and see how much more creative you can get over that obstacle versus somebody else. So
Tell me what parkour is again.
So parkour is it was something created out in France that pretty much these guys were looking at buildings and things, and it started off just being a quick way to get from point A to point B, but you have obstacles in your way. You have walls, you have stairs, you have, you know, it could pretty much be anything. Sometimes, you know, they're jumping from building to building. You see too, they can get very extreme, but it's a creative sport. So it came a long way. I mean, now they're even doing tag, games of tag
Oh,
that's
wow.
more parkour based. So they have like a jungle gym style course, and they're running around trying to tag each other through it. So
Wow.
yeah, so
Wow. So let's take a little break and watch one or two of your videos with the kids, and then we'll come back and talk about how you could create that at home. All right?
yep.
Good, keep going. Kick your legs. Kick them hard. Swing them.
Remember what I taught you? Your turn, Dad. Woohoo! Move, Atreyu! Ah!
Well, those videos were fantastic. Well, I always love seeing my grandkids anyway. But Michael, tell us, you know, like help us if we're just like regular people at home with our kids. First of all, what ages are the kids, and then what did you use to kind of set up an obstacle course?
So my kids were 3 and Lily was 5 at the time, but now she's 6. But uh, the main thing that I was using at that point was some things I used for most of my athletic training with kickboxers or sometimes my group classes, because I went out and bought that equipment. Some of it is pretty cheap. I mean, even Walmart now has a box of cones, ladders, and stuff for roughly $20. So um, the equipment in itself you can get fairly cheap, or just look around and find good deals here and there. So um, if you wanted to go that route and use equipment, that is not too hard to find, especially nowadays. But if you're at home, it's as simple as just trying to find different things that you can use around the house to give them an obstacle. So, you know, I've got tons of books in my house because I've got kids aged from 3 to 14. So, and then I myself am a book collector. So, with the amount of books we have, I mean, we can stack a bunch of them up, put a 1x3 or a 2x4 or anything you have, a broom, stack that over the top, and you can have them crawl under it,
Okay.
climb over chairs. I mean, you just want to look at it from a kid's perspective and kind of think, you know, what, especially since these kids nowadays, throughout COVID-19 are stuck in the house, they
Yes.
have a lot of pent up energy. So you're going to notice them wanting to climb things, jump around, swing from stuff. So you just look from that perspective and say, okay, what could I do to make something fun for them? And you can make a game out of it or in a little obstacle course race.
Right. I think the fun is because it looks like a game and the kids seem, you know, they look like they were having a lot of fun. Just playing a game, for them, it's just a game. But for us, it's about fitness and health. And it's about mental wellness as well, right? So they're not so stressed. They're relaxed and having fun. I think it's a great idea. So what would you suggest for the older ones?
So the older ones, they are a bit tougher nowadays. Most kids now are, you know, so used to being in their phones or playing video games that sometimes you will have to break it out of them. But I mean, the biggest thing there too is, you know, when you're a parent, is getting to know what your kid likes and
Mm,
what they're into, and then just trying to see what you can branch off of that. So, you know, I have you know, my oldest son, 14, Adrian, he likes to skateboard, which is something that I do. So sometimes we might go outside and just play around on the board for a little bit, or
Okay.
you know, he likes parkour and he likes you know, fighting sports and martial arts. So for him, you know, we'll hit the pads together or just do some jump rope. So I mean, you just gotta try different things with them and see what they're into, and then kind of use those and break those out every once in a while.
Nice. I think the key thing is that as a parent is to be a part of it, to participate with them and to enjoy it with them. And I think that's what makes it more fun.
Yes, definitely. And you definitely want to encourage them throughout it too. You know, and also try to see where you can get them to challenge themselves too. Like Dahlia, you know, she's 13. She's, you know, she's a teenage girl, so it's kind of hard to get them to do a lot of physical activity. But she loves hula hooping, and you know, she's on the more competitive side. So if she
Okay.
doesn't have somebody to compete with, it's not as interesting to her. So luckily, her little sister also ended up picking up hula hooping, and they like to compete here and there too. So you know, you
Nice.
just want to, you know, at that point, you can get the whole family together, and sometimes just have a little fun with it.
Nice. So I think I love the idea of like kind of a group hula hooping, but using a little competition as healthy competition is always a good way to kind of push yourself a little bit as well. Those have been some fantastic tips, and I think folks can really take pieces of this and you know, use it, integrate it into what they're doing on a day-to-day basis. Where it sometimes feels so heavy when we're, you know, looking at the news all the time or hearing how, you know, it's impacting everybody, coronavirus, and medically, and family members who may have you know, contracted the disease, and there's been a lot of death and dying. It's heavy as a subject right now. But I really feel like these moments of lightness, when we can bring some fun to the kids, when we can relieve the stress in the household, it's so important. So what would be your final words that you'd like us to take away with us today?
I would like to say that, I mean, on that health note, that's the main focus of what fitness can always be. Is you always want to strive to always become a healthier and better you. So you always want to, you know, try to stay active and do what you can to improve and become better every day.
Excellent.
And also try to make sure you're having fun while you're doing it.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Michael. You can find Michael at pmbfit.com. He is part of the Healthy Family Workshop series, doing the workshop on Family Fit. And as soon as we open back up, we'll be doing live workshops again. But this is just a taste of some of the dialogue that we'd be having, but you'd actually see the live exercises in play. So we're probably going to leave you with another video so you could get some more tips and ideas for how you can implement this with your family. But again, Mike, I just want to thank you for coming on. Appreciate all the time you've given us. And for everybody, stay fit, stay healthy. All right, take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.
Go, go, go! What? I got something for you. Here.
Was he a puppy dog?